Welcome to the Explainer. Let's jump right in. You know that frustrating feeling, right, where your grammar is technically flawless, you know all the right vocabulary, but when you actually speak English, it just sounds kind of awkward? Well, you're definitely not alone there. Today, we're going to completely unlock the secret code that native speakers use intuitively. It's literally the ultimate bridge between sounding like you're reading a textbook and sounding like a natural, fluent speaker.
So, here's the million-dollar question. Why is it that some sentences sound perfectly fine, while others sound completely off to a native ear, even when the dictionary says the words mean the exact same thing? You see, the trap that almost every language learner falls into is translating directly from their native language right there in their head. You think of a concept in your mother tongue, find the exact English translation for every single word, and just mash them together. Logically, sure, it should work. But as we're going to see, English vocabulary doesn't exactly play by the rules of pure logic.
Let's look at a classic example of this translation trap. Take the Thai word tum, pronounced thum. Now, in Thai, this single word covers the whole concept of creating, acting, or performing. But the second you translate it into English, you hit a massive fork in the road. It actually translates to both to do and to make. If you're just translating word for word in your head, you might think, oh, I'll just randomly pick either do or make and it'll be fine. But in English, you absolutely cannot do that. Choosing the wrong one instantly gives away that you aren't a native speaker.
So what's the fix? What actually are collocations in English? Simply put, collocations are words that just commonly go together and sound natural to native English speakers. It's all about natural combinations. Think about it. It's the whole reason we say heavy rain instead of big rain or strong rain. Even though big and heavy might both technically describe a whole lot of something, only heavy rain actually sounds right. This isn't really about strict grammar rules, It's all about habit and natural usage. I absolutely love this quote from our source material. It says, think of collocations as word partners, words that naturally like to appear together. I mean, how brilliantly does that illustrate the concept? Words in English actually have friends. They have partners they just prefer to hang out with. And when you split them up and pair them with total strangers, the whole sentence just feels incredibly awkward. So instead of memorizing single, isolated words from a dictionary, we really need to start memorizing these established partnerships.
Part 1. The make versus do test.
To really prove how vital it is to learn these exact pairings, let's put you through a rapid-fire contrast test using make and do. Let's see if your ear can naturally catch the partnerships. Take make a decision. That is the correct word partner. If you're sitting in a meeting and you say, we need to make a decision, you sound confident, you sound natural. Contrast that with do a decision. Even though do literally means to perform an action, doing a decision totally jars the listener. The words make and decision just naturally belong together.
Now let's flip the script. What about the work your teacher gives you? It is always, always do homework, never make. If a student says, hey, I have to make my homework, it instantly sounds completely unnatural. Why? Well, because you aren't actually creating the homework from scratch, right? You're performing the task of completing it. But honestly, native speakers don't even stop to think about the why. They just intuitively know that do and homework are lifelong partners. Here's one more high contrast example for you. Look, everybody messes up sometimes, but native speakers always make a mistake. They literally never do a mistake. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that you simply cannot rely on the basic dictionary definition of a verb to know how to actually use it. You have to learn the whole chunk. Make a mistake. If you learn the partnership itself, you'll never second-guess yourself while speaking. Moving on to part 2, decoding the patterns.
Now, you might be sitting there thinking you have to memorize thousands of completely random phrases. But you don't. You don't have to guess blindly. There are clear structural blueprints that these partnerships follow. These are basically the major formulas that build natural phrases. We just looked at verb plus noun with make a decision. But there are other totally vital patterns out there too, like adjective plus noun, adverb plus adjective, and adjective plus preposition. By understanding that English is built using these specific Lego blocks, you can actually start listening for them.
Let's call out that adjective plus noun pattern with some really vivid examples. Take strong coffee. If you go into a cafe and order powerful coffee, the barista will definitely know what you mean, but they'll also know right away you aren't a native speaker. Or what about serious problem? We don't usually say a bad problem in professional settings. We say a serious problem. And great opportunity just pairs together beautifully. When you learn these adjective and noun combinations as a single, cohesive unit, your vocabulary instantly sounds so much richer and way more precise.
All right, now let's really level up. Pairing adverbs and adjectives is quite frankly the fastest way to make your speaking and writing sound incredibly sophisticated. Instead of just saying a project was successful, saying it was highly successful adds this amazing layer of professional polish. It's not just clear, it's perfectly clear. It's not just important, it's extremely important. Memorizing these specific adverb-adjective partners is a real game changer that instantly elevates the tone of your English.
Part 3. Why word partners matter. So, why should you actually dedicate your precious time to memorizing these blocks? Well, our source highlights 4 massive benefits. First off, you speak more naturally. You basically stop sounding like a walking dictionary and start sounding like a local. Second, you write better English, which is absolutely crucial for university or your career. Third, you learn vocabulary way more effectively. Instead of just learning the word decision all by itself, you learn make a decision. So you get the action and the object together. And finally, you improve your fluency. When you speak in these prepackaged chunks, your brain doesn't have to pause to translate every single word. You just produce language faster.
Let me actually prove that write better English point to you right now. Compare a super basic sentence like, the research made progress, with an elevated one. The research made significant progress. See that? By adding just one natural word partner, the adjective significant, right next to the noun progress, you completely transform a basic elementary sentence into a powerful academic one. This is exactly how you impress professors and managers.
Part 4. Your Essential Starter Pack.
To get you moving right away, let's walk through a curated starter pack of everyday action partners. These are foundational phrases you're going to encounter every single day. We've got make a decision and make an effort. Notice how we take responsibility when something goes wrong or how we take part in an activity. And of course, the absolute classic, pay attention. We don't give attention, we pay it. These are the verbs that build relationships and help you get things done in your daily life. Honestly, memorize these 5 today, and I guarantee you'll use them tomorrow.
Now, let's shift gears to the essential pairs you need for success in the workplace or at university. You don't just do research in a formal paper. You conduct research. You provide evidence to support your claims. If you want to impress your boss, you make sure you meet a deadline and achieve a goal. And when things inevitably go wrong, you step up and solve a problem. Using these exact phrases makes you sound extremely competent, professional, and completely fluent in the language of business and academia.
So, we've basically broken down the secret to natural English. It really isn't about learning more single words. It's all about learning the right word partners. Think back over everything we've covered in this explainer and pick just one new collocation, whether it's highly successful or conduct research, and find a way to use it naturally today. But it kind of makes you wonder. Once you start seeing these invisible word partners everywhere, what other hidden, unspoken rules of English have you been translating entirely wrong without even knowing it? Thanks so much for joining me, and keep building those natural partnerships.